Welcome to another episode of this Cycling Life Bites. My name's Allan Davis. I'm living in the north of Spain in the Basque Country. Today I have a very special guest. I'd like to introduce to you all Kirsten Wild.
Yeah, hello.
Kirsten, can you please say a few words to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm Kirsten Wild. We know each other from you were my DS a few years ago. I'm living in the east of Holland, in Zwolle, to be more accurate. I think people know me as a road cyclist, but I'm also a tracklist. I do a bit of both.
Being a little bit humble, if you don't know already, Kirsten is a multiple world champion on the track. Also, medals on the road in road world championships. Giro d'Italia stage wins, huge results across the whole season on both track and road, including World Cups and the highest level on the road. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here again today and cross paths with you. As you mentioned, not only during our Wiggle High 5 days where I was the head sports director, but to have you on our show with this cycling life. I'll just start it off. I'll take it back a bit, Kirsten. I'm interested as well as your former DS and now obviously friend. Where did it all start from you? Just tell us a little bit about your childhood, where you grew up, and what was your passions at that time.
Well, yeah, I'm from Holland. As everybody knows, in Holland, everybody has a bicycle. So yeah, I went to school by bicycle. We do shopping by bicycle. We do everything by bicycle. So for me, it was quite normal to ride my bike. And I like to ride fast. But just so like a child with my pink basket and my little doll inside, I was riding around the house, the block of houses. So I just really liked to go fast on a bike. But my parents, they didn't like it because it's quite dangerous. And yeah, if you go fast as a child, you don't look in front, you only look down. And they were super scared that I would crash. So it took some time until they allowed me to start racing. Actually, I only started racing when I was 18. That's quite late for a lot of cyclists. But before, I was always busy with sport. I did swimming, gymnastics. Yeah, you can't believe it. I did speed skating a little bit. But yeah, when I became 12, I bought a bike myself and I just started riding with my dad and my brother. But when I was 18, I started racing.
Yeah, so this was like 2005, 2006, is that correct? Around that area?
A little bit, I'm a bit older, but yeah, when I was in 2004, I think I started more or less as a professional. Then I came in the team Adrink, and that was at home actually. And that was more or less professional team.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, obviously you're still competing now, so like I said on a previous webinar, a wise person once told me, a good career is a long career, and you've definitely done that and been successful throughout your whole career. So congratulations on that in itself. It's actually, for you yourself, it must be a huge privilege to still be competing at the highest level today and doing what you're doing. Can you please give us a little bit of insight onto your cycling career, basically from then onwards?
Yeah, so I started racing. Well, actually, now when I look back, I can't call it racing, but I started doing races when I was 18, and actually, every race I was dropped. But yeah, I really liked it. The second year I was racing, I was in a little club team. I managed to finish some local Dutch races. And as you know, this racing is high level and it's excellence and it's action. So then I realized this is fun and I really like it. And from then, I came in a smaller, how do you call it, national team.
Yep.
Yeah, and after that I came in a UCI team, and then it started rolling, and I realized that I really liked it. And I liked the game, I liked the finals. I like the training. I like everything. And I had a team that was doing track racing. And then I thought, whoa, this is what I like. So in 2008, I think I did my first track race. I had no clue. I was only riding on the black line because I was scared. but I really liked it. So then I was into the game.
Yeah, and you know, obviously, like I mentioned on previous episodes of our concept, the cycling life, you know, we're really mainly directing our information to the masters and amateur competing cyclists, and a lot of these people, our audience, are juggling, you know, their cycling with their work careers and their family and much more. I remember it was stuck in my mind that you told me back in the Wiggle days that you were a school teacher. That's correct.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I studied physical education. And at that time, I was already cycling. I was doing races, but yeah, on a lower level, of course. So when I was studying, I was combining cycling and study. So that was always a balance. I lived somewhere else, so I always had to travel with my suitcase to the races, to my student place, to my parents, later on to my boyfriend. So I was always traveling and busy. So I always had to plan, like every training and everything. I had to plan from minute to minute. When I finished my study, I started working at a high school as a physical education teacher. Yeah, that was also planning, and yeah, actually my whole life was always planning, training, maybe resting, but there was not much time for resting. And at the point I got like, how do you call it, money from the federation, the status, funding. Then I realized, like, okay, maybe I can step down from working and be a professional cyclist. And then I realized if you have energy for training, your level, flies.
Yeah. So did you think, like, your experiences through this period of basically you learned work ethic, right? You know, you learned how to combine everything into your daily routine and schedule. Do you think that helped you, that still helps you today with your, obviously you're a professional athlete. Do you think those skills help you today?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important that you have the skills to plan and organize your life. Once I got that as far as, like, you're the manager of your own career, and I think that's a really important lesson to me. So I really think that I'm my own manager. I manage everything how I want my career. Like, I want to do track cycling and road racing, and that's not always an easy combination because it's conflicting sometimes. It's always planning, and still I have to plan. If you do like a few workouts on a day, I do a morning session and an afternoon session, and in between sometimes you have to do something in the house, but you have to rest, you have to do an interview, whatever. So it's always planning, and I think it's a good skill if you are able to plan, but I think it's always also good when you're able to let it go and go with the flow. But that's for me a hard point.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, as I mentioned before, a lot of our audience are masters and amateur competing athletes, right? Cyclists, and you know, a lot of these cyclists are combining track racing and road cycling and road racing, right? And basically, you know, we have a season on the track, also a season on the road. So a lot of our audience will be combining both of these disciplines. You're the best example I could think of who does this incredibly well at the highest level, you know, gaining medals and world championships and everything in terms of, you know, world cycling. Can you give a little bit of advice on how you actually combine this into your life, these two disciplines?
I think first of all, you need to like what you do. So I'm having fun when I'm racing on the track, but I'm also having fun when I race on the road. So it's always a hard choice between those two, what I like most. But you also have to realize that you sacrifice sometimes. So if you do a lot of track, you lose some endurance on the road. So you can't win the Tour of Flanders 3 weeks after World Championships on the road. So that's a sacrifice, and you have to accept that you sacrifice sometimes a bit, and then you have to choose what's your goal. And for me, that's the track, obviously. So if my goal is World Championship on the track in February, yeah, I have to accept that the Tour of Flanders is a bit less. And if that would have been my goal, yeah, then you have to accept that the World Championship on the track, would be worse. So it's a challenge, and yeah, a matter of accepting and sacrificing sometimes. But I think most of all, it's important that you have a good plan and that you try to have some rest periods in between all those races, because you can race or train from October till October, road track. Because sometimes you have to stop a little bit, and I do mostly in May a block of rest, and then sometimes in August when it's possible.
Yeah.
But that means that you have a rest period while other riders are full gas training, and then you come back into a peloton who's on full gas, and then you're a little bit back. So yeah, that's always a challenge and a way of accepting.
Yeah, that's fantastic advice. I mean, yeah, and like you just said, having a plan, it's so important. I've been talking a lot about this to my coaches, the athletes that I coach. Having a goal and a plan has so much benefits, because it does give you a purpose in life, right? It does give you a why you're doing something, when you're doing it. It gives you clarity in decision making, and it also gives you control of your future, right? No matter what it is.
I also think that it's important, if you have a team or you have a coach, that's important to speak about your goals. That you say, like, my goal is Flanders, and then you make together a plan towards this race. If it's a road race, you train differently than if it's a track race.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to speak and share our goals to the people who are involved. And for me, it's always a challenge with the teams that you have road races, and then sometimes you have a less good level on the road because you have track racing, and it's a national team and track team and road team. It's always balancing and speaking a lot. Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's fantastic advice. Thank you. I'm going to bring it forward a little bit to a lot of questions that I've been getting lately. I'm sure you've been answering this many times as well. During this COVID-19 period, obviously one of your biggest goals this year would have been the Olympic Games. Can you give us a little bit of advice, personally, with your experience during this times, how you've readjusted your goals, how you're staying motivated?
Well, first of all, it was a shock for me that it was postponed, and there were some rumors even that it was cancelled. So I'm actually quite lucky that it's postponed for 1 year. I think for older athletes it's a bit harder, because, for example, for me it would have been the end of my career, I think. So it would have been my last race, and now I have 1 year. So I really had to switch my head, like, okay, 1 year more of planning and everything. But I think, of course, I saw it a bit coming with the recent things. But you could see it coming, that the races would have been cancelled and postponing, etc. And with my coach, we could make daily a new plan, like, okay, this race is also cancelled. Oh, this is also cancelled. Oh, this is also cancelled. So now my plan is a bit like having fun, keep like a good level, not too good because racing is maybe only in September. But the most important part is, I think, the mental sabbatical. I see it like no stress, no racing.
Yeah.
I don't have to be good. If I'm good, it's okay. But if I'm not good, it's also okay. And actually, I'm quite enjoying some time at home and with no races, no traveling. And I have so much energy. You can't believe how tired you normally are. So maybe it's good to have a mental sabbatical and just a good fit level.
Yeah, that's fantastic advice. It's actually parallel with advice that I've been giving, to my athletes and the audiences on this concept. It's the biggest thing now is because there's no clarity on the future. The biggest thing I believe is keeping mentally fresh, right? So, and at the same time, keeping some sort of fitness, but not not getting fatigued, especially mentally. So once there is some clarity, you can hit the button, and then you can put structure into your life and your program and your training, right?
I think the biggest mistake is that you feel like I trained the whole winter to get a certain level, and now you have to accept that you have to go down in that level, and to accept that you go down in the level, because if you want to remain the same level, you have to train, and then in September the races will start, and you're gone, or you're mentally gone. And I think it's important to do something you really like. I went for mountain biking, and I do some CrossFit strength training. Yeah, the other day I did a 200K ride because I like it. So I do things that I really like, and not because I have to, but because I can.
Yeah, fantastic. Look, Kirsten, I'm not going to take too much more of your time. Thank you again for taking this interview with me. It's an absolute pleasure to see you again. You know, I have big fans of you in my household with May and my kids, and we always love watching you, you know, winning world championships and racing in general. Good luck with everything. Hope everything goes well for you and your family with your cycling, but also in your life in general.
Thanks. Same for you.
Thank you very much.
See you soon somewhere.
Yeah, hopefully we'll cross paths again after we get these, what do you call it, the social distancing rules are lifted, and we can go back to our normal lives. But thanks to you. Guys, please give a thumbs up to this Cycling Life concept. We have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe to it, and we're always updating new content. So please stay tuned for more to come. Thank you.